Oh, it's my joy to be with you.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So, one of my favorite things that you do when people go to Agape is you do a wonderful welcome. And I'm wondering if you can share pieces of that to really welcome everyone.
Welcome to this transformational phone call that we recognize who you are. We see that you're an emanation of infinite possibility, magnificent, unique way in which love, intelligence, and beauty are manifesting. We appreciate who you are, and we're absolutely aware that from this moment on, everything is working together for your good. Welcome to this phone call.
So, what's your real reason for being on the planet?
My reason for being on the planet is one, a continued self realization, and to be assist with the next stage of human evolution, to be a point of inspiration for people to become their highest and best selves while they're on the planet, not leave any of their giftedness on the planet before they leave.
I think it's a wonderful place to start our discussion from this evening, though, because what I find is that very often the people who are listening to the call tonight have such big missions in the world and get stuck a little bit by fear. So one of the things I'm hopeful for in our conversation tonight is that we'll be able to open their eyes a bit to being pulled forward by a vision, and you are so brilliant at doing that. So let's talk a little bit about entrepreneurship, because I love when you talk about the hope for the future being entrepreneurs. So can you expand on that a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. Artists, visionaries, entrepreneurs, people who have an entrepreneurial spirit is actually the hope for our society. Primarily because until that spirit is activated within you, people have a tendency to look outside themselves for their good, to look out to governments and other people, things like that, to help them out. But when you have a creative entrepreneurial spirit, you're looking within yourself. You're being pulled ultimately by a vision that's within you that you learn to articulate and say yes to. And you become motivated or actually inspired by this vision. And as this occurs, you begin to find yourself being inwardly guided and directed to be and to do what is necessary for the fulfillment of that vision. You're not waiting for the cosmic tumblers to click into place. You're not waiting for external conditions to be right, not waiting for external support. By the very energy of your entrepreneurial ship, you create the conditions necessary for your success. You create the conditions necessary for guidance in a language and in a way that you can understand to begin to move through you. So people who have an entrepreneurial spirit or the creative vibration moving through them, these are the individuals that are the movers and shakers of the world. Their conversation is different. Their conversation is about what's possible, what can possibly happen, not merely the obstacles, hindrances, or obstructions that we're facing, but what is it that's possible that can happen in the world? And they begin to walk in that direction, and then they're amply and duly supported by the universe.
I love it. And one of the things that I love also that you talk about is the economy, the way that we see it today. Because I think what's interesting is if we look at the world, people who are starting their own businesses are sometimes doing really well financially. At the same time, it's easy to be afraid to start to move forward in that direction because of the appearance of what we're told is the economy that's out there. So can you speak to that a bit also?
Well, we have to make our own economy, basically. And I've often said that when, in fact, before 2008, when people began to say that the economy was slowing down and that we were heading for rough times and that there was scarcity and lack about to be a part of our experience, nature didn't get together and say, we're going to slow down as well. The apple trees didn't get together and say, there's a depression coming shortly. We can't produce more apples. The grass didn't get together and say, we can't grow anymore. The peaches didn't get together. You see where I'm going. The tomatoes didn't get together. Nothing stopped. And so nothing really stopped in the universe. Everything is still unfolding and progressing according to divine order. And the only thing that has shifted is the perception of humanity and an immature economic system. An economic system that has basically a hole in it because it's basically built around non-sustainable energy sources. However, there is another way of looking at all this. The energy, as we all know, at this stage of our development, that energy is never created or destroyed. So there's nothing missing, and there's no lack, there's no limitations, no scarcity anywhere. That's only in our mind and how we approach things through an immature economic system. So we have to begin to think outside of the box of the present economic system. And when an individual has a new idea, for a business, when an individual has a new idea to serve humanity, that idea becomes the currency that brings with it everything that is necessary for the fulfillment of that idea, which then brings the condition for harmonious prosperity and wealth and success and well-being. And just as you've already mentioned, there are people prospering right now. There are individuals in this economy that have come up with the new ideas and new ways of doing things, and they're prospering because of it, because they're not thinking about what they don't have, and they're not thinking about that the economy has shut down, nor are they depending upon some external force to save them. They're basically saying, I've got an idea, and I'm going to do what is necessary to bring this idea into fruition. If it helps humanity, if it serves humanity, if it makes life a little easier, a little better, provides the context for greater peace, greater self-realization, it's going to succeed, and it's going to bring the coin of the realm as well as peace of mind. And so prosperity begins and ends in the mind and the heart of an individual, not in an economic system. That's just the byproduct of old, stale, condensed thinking.
I love when you say it's not like all the money just got up and went away. One of the things that you've taught me, and this is absolutely paraphrased, but that when something looks like a problem, it really is God or the universe looking to express more God through you. So I love the idea that if you're an entrepreneur and it's scary to think about going out there and starting a business, it actually may be God knocking on the door saying, do more, be more.
Oh, absolutely. A problem is emblematic of our present paradigm or our present point of view or perspective, our way of thinking. And when we're stagnant, and then we find that it condenses itself as a particular issue in our life. So I teach that behind every problem, there is a question trying to ask itself. And behind every question, there's an answer trying to be expressed. And behind every answer, there's an action trying to be taken. And behind every action, there's a way of life trying to be born. So individuals have a tendency to ask disempowering questions. Why me? What's going wrong? Who's to blame? Whose fault is it? These are questions that do not lead to any empowering, life-changing answers. If there's an issue in our life, we have to be aware that because the universe is progressive, it wants us to ask a question. And so if it's about supply or prosperity, we're to ask, what is the nature of prosperity? What is the nature of success? And instead of, why can't I be successful? What's wrong? Who's holding me back? What's to blame? What is the nature of success? What is the nature of harmonious prosperity? And if we sincerely ask that question, the universe cannot deny answering it. And it will begin to give us inner promptings. It will begin to give us guidance in a language in a way that we can understand, and we'll ultimately learn that prosperity is invisible. It's non-dimensional substance of an awareness that all of our needs are always met. We'll begin to learn the inner workings of prosperity, and then from that question there'll be an action that we have to take. And the action generally is we have to give something, we have to share something. The surface mind may say, well, I don't have anything to give, that's why I'm asking the question. And it'll come back and it'll say to you, well, wait a minute, I said I'm invisible, I'm non-dimensional substance. Give something, give what you got, give a smile, be of service, share. And as you begin to do that, that becomes an action, ultimately becomes a way of life, and then ultimately that becomes an opening for more ideas, more energy to flow through one. That entrepreneurial spirit is kicked into high gear, new ideas emerge, and you find yourself starting something out of nothing, as what anything always starts from nothing, from no thing, that is. And you find yourself prospering from an idea, all because you've asked the right questions. And you said something else very brilliant here in terms of the problem. Our chronic problems is a life message that we're trying to find satisfaction in a world too small.
Can you say that again? That's brilliant.
Our chronic problem is a life message that we're trying to find satisfaction in a world too small. So you've already indicated our problems is an indication from life that it's time to grow. It's time to expand. It's time to activate more of the power from within us. It's time to discover more of our gifted nature and begin to share it. Because we've been trying to find satisfaction in way too small a world and to eke out our existence from that small point of view. And therefore we have a problem. But the problem is saying, you're trying to be happy in a world that's too small for you. It's time to grow now. It's time to unfold.
I think that what stops people, and all the coaching that I do, it's interesting because it becomes about the internal blocks often, is there's a feeling of not being valuable or not
Yes.
being worthy. Can you talk about everyone's innate value and worth?
Yes, everyone is a unique emanation of the one. Now, whatever word you want to call the one power, the one presence, the one intelligence, the one love, it's everywhere. And as the quantum physicists remind us, it cannot be divided into parts. It's everywhere. And we're unique expressions of this. Self-love and appreciation is our beginning steps towards success. When we learn to embrace that which has taken, in an evolutionary context, millions and millions and millions of years to evolve to become one of us, or that which is an idea in the mind of the creator, however way you want to look at it, is valuable. And it doesn't matter the experiences that we've gone through or the mistakes that we've made or the missteps that we've made. Our value, our intrinsic value is still the same. And we're here to discover that and express that. I recently did a workshop here at Agape, Conversations on the Emerging Edge of Prosperity. And I took out a $100 bill and I said, what is the value of this? And they said, it's $100. I said, yes, it may not be worth as much now as it was worth 10 years ago. However, for our purpose today, this is $100. Now I balled it up and threw it on the floor. I said, is it still worth $100? I said, yes. And I put my foot on it, stomped it. I said, is it still worth $100? Yes. I tore it a little bit. Is it still retain its value? Yes. So nothing we could do to really change the value of that $100 bill. Then I just threw it in the audience and whoever got it got to keep it. And I did it, gave about 3 or 4 of them away like that. In the case of us, each of us being emanations of infinitude, we're valuable and worthy to the universe. And our value does not change based on age. The value doesn't change based on human experience, mistakes, whether we've been stomped on by life, whether we've been crushed by life, whether we've delayed our good. Our value to the creative presence is still exactly the same. There's still gifts within us, there's talents within us, there's capacities and powers within us waiting to emerge. And when we embrace ourselves from that perspective, then that value becomes activated. Just as that $100 bill, once it was unfolded, somebody could go circulate it now and pick up a shirt or pay a piece of tuition for something, for a class, or to buy some books. The value is not diminished. Our value is never diminished either. So we are unlearning that we are not valuable, and that we are learning that we are valuable regardless of our past. And when that clicks in, then the inner conditions become ripe for more motivation and inspiration to take over our life. Self-love is extremely important.